Let me see if I can get to a really good one here. We get so many emails from people saying, I've left the church, my wife's still a member, my daughter joined the church, I'm not a member, I'm engaged to a girl who's a member. How do I handle sharing with these people I love? And I have three emails here that are specifically to that, and just let me wrap up the show with this. Every case is individual. There are people who want to know the truth and they'll bring it up. If they don't bring it up, in all probability, you are causing a division to come, especially if they've been in the Mormon church for a long time, or if they've converted because their boyfriend is a member and they're going to get married. Walls go up. People don't want to hear that stuff. In the case of walls going up, people not wanting to hear it, and you're trying to reach them with truth, the best thing I think you can do is pray. Be Jesus to them. Don't preach or share things about their faith with them unless solicited. If it's solicited, then you can say, well, and take a real casual approach. You know, well, what is, if it just comes out, what is it you have so much against? And then really have a soft answer of, I just don't think Jesus is this focal point or spiritual rebirth, something like that. Be Jesus. And I have an email here. Someone says, what did you do with your family? I have 3 daughters, still LDS, wife still LDS. When I came out, they were out for a long time. And what I did was contrary to what everyone said I needed to do. I would drive them to seminary. I would take them to stake dances. I would go and take them to church if my wife had to do something else. I would support them in their attendance. And I had no problem whatsoever keeping my mouth shut. And if my daughters came out of seminary and said, my seminary teacher said this, what do you think? Then I'd just catch, well, you know, I think that the seminary teacher doesn't understand this, and just teach in love. Support, but teach in love when asked. It's the best way. I do not believe for a second that God wants marriages ending over religion. I do not believe it. And I think that that's religion that's getting involved when that happens. I think the Mormon church is guilty of it. And sometimes Christians will say, I'm leaving my husband. You know, I became a Christian and he won't. He's Mormon. And so God wants me to not be unequally, all that junk. He wants love. It's through love that you're going to win. Final thing, Marie Conlon says, okay, Shawn, my question, why for thousands of years before Christ were there other pagan religious folks that believed in random gods who had the same exact story of Jesus Christ before his story? It wasn't the same exact story if you're talking about Gilgamesh and you're talking about some of the other fables and myths. They weren't exact, but there are similarities. Could it be that they were giving the narrative before it came out? Could it be that they were inspired by something to bring up a false Jesus before the real one arrived? I don't know. There are similar stories. There's flood stories. All over the world, there's flood stories. There are Messiah stories that many cultures have. But I think whenever you're going to have the real McCoy, you're going to have counterfeits. And these counterfeits just happened to come before Christ. And when Christ came, there were counterfeits after him. I just think that the counterfeits are always going to exist. That's how I would see it. Marie, I hope that helps to some extent. Join us next week as we talk about Mother in Heaven here on Heart of the Matter.